Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Last Minute, a channel that helps you with all your problems, life sciences. It's either it's the night before your exam and you're just so stressed out, or you're starting a new section in life sciences and you're a bit intimidated by it. This channel is like a painkiller to all your life science problems. So today we're going to be looking at how the plants respond to the environment. So we have talked about how the human body responds to the environment. We talked about the nervous system and the endocrine system. Now it's about plants. So we're going to be looking at the number of hormones that play a role in plants' development and growth. We're going to be looking at phototropism, geotropism, and the plant's defense mechanism. So before we get started to all those things, let's just look at the parts of the plant. So when I'm explaining all of these hormones and their functions, you know which parts of the plant they are going to be affecting. So we have flowers, which play a role in the reproduction in plants, leaves, which help with photosynthesis, making sure the plant is nourished. We have fruits that produce seeds, the stem, which plays a role in the plant growing taller, reaching the sun or the light source. We have the roots, which absorbs water and minerals, also for the nourishment of the plant. So all of the other things like the flower, leaf, fruit, and stem are the shoot system, and then the roots are the root system, the only part of the root system. So I hope this makes everything clear. And now we're going to be looking at the hormones. So the first hormone we'll be looking at, very hard to pronounce, it's gibberellins. Gibberellins is the hormone, or should I say a gas, that is produced in hormones, and it mainly helps with flowering and fruit development. That's main function is the sprouting of flowers and fruits in plants. So it promotes stem growth, making the plants grow taller. It breaks seed dormancy, meaning that it stimulates the seeds to start growing into fruits. It promotes, as I mentioned, flowering and fruit growth. That is its main function, and it works together with auxins to control elongation of the plant. And then we have another hormone, which is cytokinins, which plays a role in cell division. So mitosis in the plant, that's what it plays a role in. And it also delays aging in plants. So it stimulates cell division with the help of auxin, which we'll talk about. That's another hormone also. It promotes shoot formation in tissue cultures. It delays leaf aging, and in some flower shops they use this hormone to spray the plants so that they can stay looking fresh and looking healthy. And it promotes lateral bud grow. So instead of the plant growing taller, it's more of helping the flowers, the leaves grow. So that's what it does more. And then we have another gas, which is ethylene. Ethylene controls fruit ripening and responses to stress, but mainly fruit ripening. So as you can see, it accelerates fruit ripening, and if you might notice, bananas ripen very faster when they are because they have a lot of this gas. So they grow and ripen very quickly. So you can't really keep bananas for too long, or they start getting brown, or they get too ripe. And avocados as well. It also causes leaf and fruits to drop, and it does also help with flowering, and it also helps plants respond to mechanical stress like winds or obstacles. And this gas also is another reason why you can't put certain fruits or vegetables in the same space, because the other fruit could cause, or the other vegetable could cause other vegetables to go bad. And this is the hormone that's the cause of that. abscisic acid. It inhibits growth and helps plants cope with stress. So this is the hormone, or that's very much what causes plants during autumn to be brown, and the leaves to start getting brown and yellow and orangey. Leaves and flowers not growing or falling off, no fruits coming in. It's this acid. So it promotes seed dormancy. So it prevents seeds from germinating until the conditions are right, until it's springtime. So it closes the stomatas also during drought to reduce water loss, and it acts as a stress hormone. So this is like a stress hormone, and it just helps the plant to protect itself during times where conditions are not the best, help retain water. So I think that's why also it doesn't encourage seed germination and flowering and fruit growth, because all of those things will need nutrients. And at this moment where conditions are not right, the plants cannot afford to lose the little nutrients that it's getting from the environment and that it has. So instead, just to stay alive, you just go into the state of dormancy, where the flowers are not growing, the leaves are turning a little brown, just saving a little bit of water and nutrients that it has. And this is the hormone that helps in that occurring. And then the most important hormone in plants is auxin. Auxin is called the plant growth regulator. It controls the growth and the development in plants. It plays a role in cell elongation, apical dominance, root development, and tropism, which was what we're going to be looking at with this in terms of this hormone. Phototropism is when the plant responds to light. So for example, let's say you have a flower that is on your windows, by your windows. You'll notice that the flower is bending towards the light source, or the source of light that is coming into through the window. So the sunlight that's coming through the window. And the reason of that is phototropism, and that is because of auxin. So when a plant receives light and not evenly, those parts of the plant that are shaded or not receiving or getting that light, they get concentrated with auxin, and then auxin will stimulate cell elongation on the shaded side, which will cause the plant to elongate but also bend towards that light. So it's as if the plant is reaching for that light source. So that's what phototropism is. So there's negative and positive phototropism. So positive tropism is when there's growth towards the light. So when the plant, the shoots and the leaves, or the shoot system is growing towards the light, that is positive tropism. And this also helps the plants to get as much light source so that it can be able to undergo photosynthesis. So it's just trying to maximize as much as it can to get to the light source so that it can get as much photosynthesis as possible. And the negative phototropism is growth away from the light, and that will be your roots. Your roots are growing away from the light source. They're going to shaded, darker areas, mainly the soil, mainly also not to lose the amount of water that they are picking up by being burned up by the light source. Then we go to geotropism. Geotropism is the plant's response to gravity. So you know how plants grow. So how auxin gets affected with gravity. So we were talking about light, how auxin is affected by light. So auxin will be on the shaded side, right? It will get concentrated in the shaded side all the time, where the light does not hit. So in the shoot system, when there is a high concentration of auxin, that promotes cell elongation. But in the root system, when there is a high concentration of auxin, there's an inhibition, or there is no cell growth or little cell growth that occurs. So Because of gravity, obviously oxygen will be concentrated at the lower part of the plants, like the stem and the root, and also because that will be the part that it will be a little bit of shade or more shaded. So in the stems, like I mentioned, it will encourage cell elongation, which is why a plant grows taller. And instead, it doesn't grow taller in the lower half, it only grows taller in the upper half, more taller in the upper part. And then you will also, but then in roots, there's an inhibition of cell elongation because of oxygen being present. And what you will see is that the roots will then start growing laterally instead of going down more, because there will be more oxygen on the part that is lower. But if it's going laterally, if there's no oxygen in the lateral part, so it will grow, the roots will be able to grow laterally. So the role of oxygen, it will promote elongation on the lower side of stems, bending up, making those stems to bend up or grow taller, and inhibits elongation in the lower side of roots, which makes the roots bend downwards or go laterally. So again, with geotropism, there's positive and negative tropism. The positive tropism, growth towards gravity. So that will be the roots. The roots will grow as a result of gravity. The roots will grow deeper into the soil, and so that we can be anchored and allow it to be able to absorb much minerals and the plants that it needs. It will grow, the roots will grow laterally, also as a result of oxygen. So this allows the plants to be really anchored and be able to get as much water as possible. And then negative geotropism is growth away from the direction of gravity, and that will be the shoot system that will be doing that. It will be growing towards the light for photosynthesis, and that will help in the plants getting also more nourishment that it needs. So another thing, I think oxygen being its ability to stop cell elongation in roots, I think it's also to make sure that the roots stay in the ground. They don't go up, they don't grow out of the ground, where it would be futile for them to be out of the ground. They needed to go deeper in the ground, and they needed to be able to anchor the plant properly by spreading laterally. So I think that's why it has that effect on the roots. Then we have the plant's defense mechanism. So the physical defenses would be any barriers to stop or slow down attacks. So plants have defense mechanisms to stop themselves from being eaten up by cows, sheep, lambs, any animals that eat plants. So the physical or structural defense mechanisms would be thorns and spines. You'll find roses will have thorns, tough leaves or thick barks. They will have tiny hairs. I'm sure you've seen those plants where you touch them and they have little tiny hairs that when they prick you, they really cause some skin irritation. And they also help to trap insects, and they make the plants less tasty for animals. There's the leaf curling up of movement. I'm sure you've seen plants where you touch them and then they just get thinner and smaller, and they disappear. And or having waxy cuticles, which helps with pathogens and water loss. There's also chemical defenses, like some plants will release toxins or poisons like nicotine, cyanide, that sometimes harm or kill herbivores. They sometimes release chemicals that make them taste bad or smell bad, or they'll have sticky resin, like they'll have these gel-like sticky feelings and touch, or there'll be latex, or sometimes they'll have antimicrobial chemicals which will kill or stop growth of bacteria or fungi and all of that. So you might know poison ivy. When you touch poison ivy, you start getting some skin irritation. That is also a chemical defense mechanism. It releases a chemical toxins that will harm you, either a person or the animals. So that's how plants protect themselves. Anyways, we have come to the end of our video. I hope this video was clear for you guys and very easy to understand, and it was helpful in your studies. Make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed, and if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me. Make sure you hit that notification as well, notification bell, so that you will know when I post a new video and any other content. Please like this content, share it, and also leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Any feedback, any topics you would like me to talk about, or even deep dive, or anything else you would like me to do in terms of life sciences and helping you prepare for your tests and your exams, I'll be more than happy to do that. Thank you so much for your love and support. Good luck with your studies, and God bless. Bye.